Hello and welcome back to NT Coins World, where we dive deep into the world of coins, exploring their history, value, and unique features. Today, we're going to take an in-depth look at two specific Lincoln cents, one from 1973 and the other from 1979. These two coins might not seem all that remarkable at first glance, but trust me, there's more to them than meets the eye. We'll explore their mintage numbers, historical context, errors, and some fascinating facts that could potentially make these coins more valuable than you might expect, especially if you have one in your collection. So if you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about the world of numismatics, make sure to stick around as these Lincoln cents may just surprise you. Let's start with the 1973 D Lincoln cent, one of the more intriguing coins from the early 1970s. It may not have the cachet of some rarer pennies, but when you break it down, there's a lot more to this piece than just its face value. The 1973 D Lincoln cent, minted in Denver, holds a special place in US numismatic history, but not necessarily for its rarity. With a mintage of over 4.2 billion coins, it's certainly not rare in terms of production numbers. However, what makes this coin interesting is its historical context and the way it represents a turning point in US coinage. In the early 1970s, the US was still in the midst of recovering from the economic challenges brought on by the Vietnam War and the subsequent inflationary period. The government was minting massive quantities of coins to keep up with the increased demand for currency, particularly due to rising costs and the nation's economic growth. The 1973 D, like other coins of the era, was part of this widespread minting effort. Now you may be wondering, why focus on a coin with such a massive mintage? Well, let's dig deeper. A 1973 D Lincoln cent in fine condition can hold a surprising amount of value depending on its specific qualities. While fine condition refers to coins that exhibit moderate wear but still have discernible features and details, the key here is understanding how condition plays into the overall value. At first glance, a coin in fine condition will show signs of wear. You'll notice that the Lincoln portrait might not have the sharpness it once did, and the letters of liberty may be less defined. Still, this coin is far from being worn down to the point of being unrecognizable. The reverse side, featuring the familiar Lincoln memorial, will retain its details, though it will be softened by circulation. The true value of the 1973 D Lincoln cent in fine condition typically hovers around 10 cents to 50 cents, depending on demand and market conditions. However, here's where things get interesting. Some specific varieties and errors can make this coin far more valuable. For example, the 1973 D double die obverse is a particularly sought-after variety. If you have one of these rare errors, the value can skyrocket to anywhere between $100 and $1,000, with some particularly high-grade examples reaching even higher. It's crucial to note that the value of the 1973 D Lincoln cent will fluctuate based on the overall state of the coin market and the coin's condition. In fine condition, the coin will still carry a reasonable value, but if you're lucky enough to come across one with a unique error or in particularly high grade, don't be surprised if the value jumps into the $2,000 or higher range. But what about collectors? While the 1973 D isn't considered a top-tier collector's coin, it does have a place in sets. Coin collectors who focus on completing sets of Lincoln cents may appreciate having a well-preserved example of this issue, even if it's not the rarest or most valuable penny out there. And let's not forget the historical context of the 1973 D Lincoln cent. This was the year when the US Mint first introduced the small date variety, and while the 1973 D is not known for its small date, this shift in design would eventually become a key characteristic of future pennies. The 1973 D, in a way, stands as a bridge between older coin designs and the changes that would shape the Mint's future. Now that we've explored the 1973 D Lincoln cent, let's move on to another iconic coin in the Lincoln series, the 1979 D Lincoln cent. You might think, well, this is just another year, another penny, but once again, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The 1979 D Lincoln cent, like the 1973 D, has a high mintage, with well over 6.1 billion coins being produced in the Denver Mint. The year 1979 was a time of significant change in the United States, not just politically and socially, but in terms of coinage as well. For this specific coin, the historical context adds a layer of intrigue. The late 1970s was marked by high inflation, and the country was still feeling the economic aftermath of the 1973 oil crisis. As a result, there was a high demand for circulating coins, leading to a production spike. The 1979 D cent is a reflection of these economic times, as millions of pennies were required to meet the needs of everyday commerce. Like its 1973 counterpart, the 1979 D Lincoln cent was widely circulated, which makes finding one in fine condition slightly more challenging. A fine condition 1979-D will exhibit moderate wear, but you'll still be able to make out the details of Abraham Lincoln's face and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The Liberty inscription will be legible, but some of the finer details will have softened due to the coin's time in circulation. In terms of value, the 1979 D Lincoln cent in fine condition typically ranges from 10 cents to 50 cents. However, much like the 1973 D, the real value lies in rare varieties and errors. One of the most famous varieties of the 1979 D cent is the 1979 D wide rim variety, which features a noticeable gap between the rim and the outermost letters of the word Liberty. If you happen to have one of these coins in your collection, the value can range from $50 to $100 depending on condition and demand. Another exciting factor with the 1979 D cent is its role in the larger context of the copper versus zinc debate. In 1979, the US Mint was transitioning from using more copper in coins to using a more cost-effective zinc alloy. As a result, some collectors view the 1979 D as part of a significant era in US coinage, marking the end of a specific composition and the beginning of the era of cheaper, less durable pennies. In fine condition, you might not see significant premium values unless your coin is in excellent condition or features an error. However, collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents, particularly those focused on coins with notable varieties, will be more interested in specific examples, especially those with rare double-die obverses or minting anomalies. So, while the 1973 D and 1979 D Lincoln cents aren't necessarily known for their rarity, they still represent an important part of the Lincoln cent series, and certain examples can fetch a surprising amount. If you're a collector or someone just starting out, it's always worth examining your coins carefully for those little imperfections or unique features that could make them more valuable. As always, condition is key when determining a coin's worth, but as we've discussed, specific varieties and errors can make all the difference. Whether you're looking to complete a collection or simply curious about the world of Lincoln cents, these two coins are great examples of how even seemingly common pieces can have hidden value. Thanks for tuning in to NT Coins World. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our deep dives into the fascinating world of coin collecting. Until next time, happy hunting.